Hey, it's our friend Dave Olson. We didn't get a chance to talk about the official portraits of the Obamas that were released last week. Released hell, they escaped, well said. His was a perfect metaphor. He's poorly proportioned while sitting on his ass in front of his idea of government, kudzu, poison ivy, and pot. He was amateurish and locked. Hers was amateurish and looked like she'd been adorned with the covering that came with my high school hoopty 1979 Triumph TR7. That have been better off if they'd used the artiste who did a painting of the Virgin Mary using elephant dung. Say what you will about the policies of FDR, his official portrait is magnificent. Can today's art and the art of the future be saved from the artists? Wow. We did do a right angle about that. And I think I called that one, I think it was called, Really? One look at the artist on stage wearing his, I don't want to call it a clown suit because, I don't have any desire to offend clowns. But as far as his is concerned, one look at the artist shows you that he's a very avant-garde artist, you see. And so Obama had to have a portrait that sets him apart from everybody else. He was sold to us, you may remember this, as simply being a qualified man for the job who happened to be black. He was sold to us as the person who was going to bring racial integration to America because he was going to be a black president, and it wasn't about him being black. And the second he got elected, from the instant forward, and even before then, obviously, it's all about, look at me, I'm a black president. And so his portrait is absurd. And it's not just absurd because it's different. It's just bad. The face is rendered very well. I think the face is really quite a good likeness of him. But if you look at the portrait, he wanted something different and striking, and that's what he got. He got a very, very poor rendition that wasn't designed to be presidential. It was designed to be anti-presidential. It was designed to, if you see all of the other portraits lined up in a gallery, what Obama wanted was he wanted you to come to him and just go, whoa, wait a minute. Take Obama out of it. Put Ronald Reagan in that chair. Put Ronald Reagan in that chair. And all of a sudden you're going through 26, 27, 29, 30, 40, 41. You go, what? It's not a good what. The Kennedy portrait is a good what. The portrait of Kennedy is shocking and different, grabs your attention. But it's a very, very interesting and bold choice. Because it's not screaming at you with primary colors and subversive. That's Dave Wellman's term, exactly right. It's not screaming at you subversive. The portrait of Kennedy with his arms crossed looking down is a portrait. How do you not look at that picture and not think of Cuban Missile Crisis or something like that? I mean, that's an interesting take. The color and the composition doesn't grab you and yank you out of your chair, but there's a great deal of audacity in having a portrait where the person's not looking at the camera at all. In fact, you just basically barely make out his face. You're looking at his hair, which is excellent hair, by the way. And I ought to know. So look at the portrait of Obama, and you'll realize that a bunch of things just they not only don't make sense. It's just plain lack of ability. It's just lack of talent. That's all there is to it. It's just lack of talent. Look at the picture closely. You'll see his face is done rather well, actually, very well. You look at his hands. One of his hands has got a fold in it that makes it look like he's got six fingers on one hand. But more importantly, look at the way he's sitting on the chair. The chair is coming out at an angle, and Obama's entire body is at like 45 degrees to the angle of the chair. If you just look at it carefully, you realize that he's hanging out of the chair, that the chair's this way, and he's kind of leaning that way, and it's not like he's turned in the chair either. And most striking to me, aside from all of the Photoshop cloned foliage, which is, again, a sign of a lazy artist. Oh, there's Dave Wellman again. Portrait was lazy. Yes, lazy. He basically cloned the background, didn't paint individual flowers, painted a bunch of them, then photoshopped them and copied them out. That's lazy. The perspective is lazy. The hand is lazy and also lack of talent. But the most remarkable thing about that painting is the lighting and the perspective on the background doesn't change. In other words, if you look at the painting, it's like Obama's chair has been stuck into a wall of ivy on two steel rods and that he's floating above it. It's not like his feet are on the ground and then the background makes a turn from the vertical to the horizontal where the chair sits. It's all vertical and the chair is just floating in space like that. And, I'm sure, by the way, I don't think he's terribly enamored with it. However, you can see from the pictures of Michelle with her portrait that she's just plain furious. She's just furious. You just look at the pictures of her at the unveiling. You just look at she's got the exact same expression on her face that she had when Barack was texting with that cute Danish prime minister or whatever. That kind of look like her portrait looks like the absolute national prize winner for portraiture in the 12 and under category. And it goes again to the idea that all show and no substance, right? Oh, look, wow, what a really different and vibrant and amazing, bold choice it is. It's not. It's bad art disguised as different, I guess. I got to fly, folks. I'm sorry. It's a little early, but I got to run. So I got about the same amount of show. We just didn't get so much preamble this time. It's always good to be here. Thanks again for watching and all the rest of that stuff. We'll be back next week, I think. I don't think I'm going anywhere. If I am, I'll be back the week after that. But until then, again, always... until then, thanks again for the members for your continuing support. I really should stop calling you members now. I've been thinking about this for quite a long time. You're actually patrons is a much better term, really. Patrons, people who again and again and again say, look, we don't really want the members-only shows. We want everybody to see it. That's a patron of the arts and patrons of democracy and freedom. Very grateful as always. So thank you very much for that as always. And that'll do it for 178. Until next time, I'm your host, Bill Whittle. You be careful out there, and it's time for me to push the button.